Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video, we're going to show you how to change out the GE refrigerator ice crusher mounting plate. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new ice crusher mounting plate. The ice crusher mounting plate is where the ice crusher mechanism is mounted. The main reason to be changing it out is if it's rusted and you're getting rust on your ice. In order to get to the part, we have to open up the freezer door. Now that we have the door open, we can take the ice bucket out. All you have to do is lift up on it and then pull it out. Now that we have the ice bucket assembly out of the freezer, we're going to set it on a table that has a towel on it so it's protected. And then we can use a Phillips screwdriver to remove the screws that hold the ice bucket to the auger assembly. We're going to do the two inside the bucket first. Once you have those two out, we can turn the assembly around so we can remove the screws in the back. We're going to have the two at the bottom. We're going to take those out first. Then we can follow the actuator arm up and take out the screw that holds the bracket with the spring on. Then we can turn the assembly around, and we have to unhook it from underneath the bracket right here, and we have to make sure that it comes off this little locator pin. So we're going to tilt it so the bottom of it comes up a little bit, and we can lift it and flex it so it comes off this peg. If you have to, you can use a flathead screwdriver to help lift it off the pin, and then get this out from underneath the lip. Once you have everything disconnected, we can lift the ice bucket off. As you pull it off, make sure you don't lose the gray seal. You need that when we put everything back together. Now that we have the ice bucket off, we're going to take out the two screws that hold the front cover onto the mounting plate. Once you have both screws out, we can separate the two pieces and set the front piece aside. Then we're going to set the auger assembly down on the table so we can remove the cover. We're going to take the drive cup out of the auger and just set it aside so it doesn't get lost. And then we're going to remove the actuator arm. It's locked onto the mounting plate by a set of locking tabs on each side of it. So we're going to lift up on the deflector door with a small flathead screwdriver and get the rod out from behind it. And then we're going to have to turn it so these little tabs line up with the openings on the plate, and we can pull it out. Once you have it free, you're going to have to loop it around. Once you have it out, you can set it aside. Now on the front of the cover, we're going to take off this E-clip and washer. Just have to use a small flathead screwdriver to pop off the E-clip. Once you have the E-clip off, we can take the washer off, and then we can use our 1/4-inch nut driver to remove the screws that hold the cover to the mounting plate. Once you have those screws out, we can lift the cover off and set it aside. And then we can take the ice crusher mounting plate and carefully pull it off the actual auger assembly. Just going to have to kind of feed it through so it comes off. Once you have it off, you can separate the two pieces. Here's the old ice crusher mounting plate next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. To put the new ice crusher mounting plate on, we're going to line it up with the ice crusher, and same as when we took it off, we're going to carefully feed it through the opening. And once you get it past the crusher mechanism, then we can put the front cover on. To put the front cover on, you have to make sure that you line up this plastic piece with this opening right here. That's what locks it into place. So as you turn this over, you're going to have to make sure that this piece goes into here. All you have to do is lift it up and get it lined up so it goes in there properly. Once you have that block in there, we can push it on the rest of the way. We have to make sure that the locking nut comes out the front of the cover. And once you have that in place, then we can line up the screw holes and use our 1/4 inch nut driver to put the screws in. They don't thread the holes in these from the factory, but these are self-tapping screws, so they may be a little bit harder than normal to drive through. So you want to make sure that you get them lined up and cut the thread straight. We're going to leave this one loose while we line up the other two and put them in so we can cut the threads on those. Once you have all 3 screws in, we can go tighten them all down. Once you have the screws tightened down, we can put the washer and the E-clip on. We're just going to set the washer on. Then we can get the E-clip in the groove and push up on it to lock it in place. If you have to, you can use a small screwdriver to help push it on. Now we can turn it around and put the actuator bar in. We just have to feed it through the opening right here and loop it around. And then again, we're going to have to align this side of these little tabs up with the openings on the mounting plate and feed it through. Might be a little tight because it's new. Then we can rotate the bar over. And we're going to use our flathead screwdriver again to lift up on the deflector and get the bar underneath it. Once you have it in place, you can put the front cover back on. To put the front cover on, we're just going to lift this assembly out of the way and set the front cover in so we can set the assembly on it. Just going to set it down and line up everything so we can put the screws in. Once you have it lined up, we can use the Phillips screwdriver to put the screws in. Now that we have the front cover on, we're going to turn it around so we can put the ice bucket back in place. Before we put the ice bucket back in, we're going to make sure that the drive coupler goes in, and then we're going to carefully set the ice bucket down into place in between the auger and the bar. You want to make sure that the seal doesn't fall off. As you're setting the ice bucket down into place, you want to make sure that you lift up on this bracket and spring so it doesn't get caught between the ice bucket and the mounting plate. First thing we're going to do is make sure we get this lip underneath the mounting plate. And we have to make sure that the mounting peg right here goes in. You may have to flex this so both of them go in at the same time. Once you have it in place, we're going to make sure that the cup is lined up so the auger doesn't get jammed up. Once you have the auger cup in place, we can put the screws back in. Once you have those two in, you can turn the assembly around and put the ones in the bottom. Now we can lift the spring and the bracket assembly up the bar so we can mount it so the bar has tension. We want to make sure that the hook of the spring and the bracket goes right over this part of the mounting bracket. Once you have that in place, we can put the screw in. You can use the Phillips screwdriver to tighten it down. Once you have the screw tightened down, we have to wrap the spring around the bar so it has tension on the deflector. Once you have the spring in place, the deflector should move freely back and forth. Once you have everything put back together, you can put the assembly back into the freezer. To put the ice bucket in, all you have to do is line it up on the shelves and slide it back into place. Once you have it all the way in, we can close the freezer door, plug the refrigerator back in, and make sure it starts to cool. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.